Today's fresh music.
The new fresh.
102.7.
Hey, it's Heather with the new Fresh 102.7, and we're welcoming a very special guest into the studio. Very happy to have Jesse McCartney here.
How are you, Heather?
I'm doing great, thank you. You have a new album out.
I do. Departure just came out in May.
That's very exciting. And you know what's interesting is that this album, you've always been known for a very pop feel, and this one has a pop feel, but it also has like a little bit of an R&B touch in there too.
It's a little bit. I have been moving a little bit towards that R&B rhythmic, direction, and it's something that I intended on, doing 2 years ago, going into this album, and certainly working with the writers and the producers that I worked with. They sort of kind of helped me crystallize that sound, and among them were Sean Garrett and Tricky and a lot of these guys who are known in that R&B world. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's my favorite album thus far, but of course they always are. They always are.
Well, now you say you wanted to actually make that move for the last couple of years. Why is that?
I don't know. I think this album also is sort of a reflection of my youth and what I listened to as a kid. Growing up, I listened to my parents' 45 collection, and it was, I think, the first person I found on my own out of that huge collection was Elvis Presley. It's the first time I ever heard a white guy singing soul music, and that did it for me. And then I started listening to James Brown, Aretha Franklin, and Babyface, and Michael Jackson, and that was sort of my foundation for music growing up. And I dipped into the rock, world a little bit as well, but I really felt connected with R&B music. And, I definitely, when I decided that I was going to start singing, when I got signed, 5 years ago, and I had always planned or wanted to make a record like this one, but I didn't think I was necessarily capable or mature enough to make it until now. So... And here we are.
I know, we are.
I'm very excited about it.
Well, your first single, Leaving, is great.
Thank you.
I mean, fortunately, we were treated to an acoustic performance of that, and it just blew us all away, of course.
Oh, good.
But just so you know, last week, that song was voted in as the song our listeners wanted to hear the most.
Excellent.
Yeah, so.
The fans have been really supportive. I must say, I was a little anxious / nervous going in, because I had been living with it for a while, so I was really comfortable with it. But this was definitely, I knew there was going to be a lot of shock value when that single came out or dropped, because the fans I don't think were ready or anticipating this from me as an artist. Like you said earlier, a lot of the previous records were a lot more pop and in the pop lane. So they adapted. I think they're on board now, and clearly, I mean, they've been voting for the song, and it's been doing very well. So.
Well, and I think you got a whole bunch of new listeners because of it too. I think it even broadened your spectrum a little bit.
It may have broadened the spectrum, and that's cool too. Anyone who's down to listen and wants to buy the album, I'm there.
You won't stop them.
Yeah.
So you're on tour right now with Jordan Sparks.
On tour with Jordan Sparks. It's
going well.
It's going very well. We're doing the Nokia Theater tomorrow night here in Manhattan and in Times Square, and we were just in Chicago. We've been bouncing around the U.S. It's a relatively short tour. It's only about a month and a half, and we're halfway in now. So, but it's been going great. Jordan is a sweetheart. We do a duet actually at the end of the show, which is really fun. But yeah, it's been great. I haven't been on tour for a while. It's been it's been a couple years, so.
Well, how was it getting back into the things? Getting back in the groove?
It was interesting. It definitely took a little bit of time to sort of work out all the kinks and getting used to being back on stage again in front of a live audience. But I love it there. That's my home, is being on stage. So.
And I'm sure they welcomed you back with open arms. They're like, Jesse, we missed you.
No, I have some of the best fans, no doubt.
Well, let's talk about the song Bleeding Love, because the song is huge. It's gorgeous. But I think what most people don't realize is that you co-wrote that song with Ryan Tedder of One Republic.
I did. Yeah, Ryan and I got in the studio about 1.5 years ago, and at the time, he was just one of the writers that was sort of on that shopping list of people I wanted to work with to make my album. And we were in the middle of building my catalog, for my record, and we probably had 50 or 60 songs by the time the whole thing was done. But one of them was Bleeding Love. And we were in the studio one night, and I recorded it just because someone needed to sing it. We were writing it, and someone needed to get behind the microphone and sing the melodies and the lyrics and everything. But it sort of just sat around for a while. I think we collectively thought that it would be better or stronger with a female vocalist, and we just weren't really prepared. And so it just sort of sat around until Simon Cowell and Clive Davis heard it, and Leona had just won X Factor over in the UK, and it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, well, I've heard your version of it, and I like your version a lot. It's actually very intimate, very special.
It's totally different. I mean, and that's what's so great about, Leona, is that she puts her own little spin on it, and she really makes that song soar.
Well, I think something else people don't know about you, and I only bring this up because a lot of our mom listeners have kids that love this movie, but you were the voice of Theodore in Alvin and the Chipmunks.
You did your homework.
I did.
You did your homework.
I just thought it was adorable because Theodore's the fat one. That's not you.
Theo, well, I thought it was pretty perfect. The short, chunky, fat guy. That was a fun. I grew up watching Alvin. My parents grew up watching Alvin and the Chipmunks. They're sort of an American, classic. And so when the Fox called and said, "Do you want to be a part of, this movie?" I just remember being 9 years old with a big bowl of cereal every Saturday morning watching Alvin. And it was really cool. Ross Bagdasarian is actually the owner. It's still a privately owned, the whole franchise.
Oh, I didn't realize
that.
And
he created Alvin and the Chipmunks. And we went to their house in Santa Barbara, California. And he has the original studio where Alvin was created, and the shrine of Alvin and all the Chipmunks.
Gosh.
It was pretty unbelievable. When we were doing the press for all for the film, we did all the press at their gorgeous estate in Santa Barbara. And I got to work with Justin Long, who's a great guy, and Jason Lee, who played Dave, and it was just really one of those sentimental moments. It was like, wow, this is part of my childhood. And it was a little bit of pressure too. I didn't want to screw it up. What if I screw up Theo? It's not going to be good. So, but it's
I think there are worse things you could do than screw up.
Yeah, no, it worked though. I just signed on to do Alvin 2 actually. So we're going to be we're doing Alvin 2 probably in the next year or so.
Well, do you remember your favorite Alvin and the Chipmunks song from when you were little?
I think the hula hoop song was pretty universally known and just stuck in everybody's head. We pulled that one out for the film too. So yeah. Well,
we could have asked you to do that one instead of Leavin'.
They have Leavin' actually in Alvin and the Chipmunks voices. If you go online, you can search Leavin', and it has Alvin singing Leavin'.
You're like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Well, since we're going to feature not Alvin and the Chipmunks, I'm sorry, Leaving on our Sunday show, Fresh Acoustic Sunrise, I've got to ask you. What is a perfect Sunday morning to Jesse McCartney?
Perfect Sunday morning. Wake up when I want, so nobody wake me up. Nobody's calling me, no alarm clocks. Get up, have coffee. I live in LA, so usually the weather is pretty reliable. I don't know, go to the beach or just kind of go to my favorite breakfast spot, which is down the street from my house, Solar Crepes. This awesome crepe spot. It sounds so boring.
Well, I just wouldn't believe that you'd ever eat a crepe. You're so in shape.
Well, they have healthy ones too. So
okay.
But
I just haven't found those myself.
Yeah, they got breakfast ones and the egg whites and the onions and the green. Anyway, boring radio. But I that's my favorite Sunday.
That sounds like a good one.
Yep.
Well, we are so excited about your album, and congratulations for being the most voted on person here at Fresh.
Thank you very much.
And best of luck.
Thank you, Heather.
Good having you.
You too.